Welcome to the Blue Cafe. Today we have 3 stories that follow the same theme: I cheated because you weren't man enough. Are cheaters justified with this excuse, or is it just another attempt at blame shifting? Let us know in the comments. Now, on to today's stories. My fiance slept with her co-worker, then left me for him. Oh man, where do I begin? I got engaged 6 months after dating her for 3 years, and just had to break it off last week. She works for a very large financial institution and was usually out of the house until late at night. I didn't think anything was going on because I understood the nature of her job. This was her routine for our whole engagement. I would say a month ago, however, her behavior started to change. She was getting home really late at night, probably around midnight, and still getting up at 6:30 for work. I found this strange because there was no change in her job title, and in the past she rarely had to stay that late for work. Also, when I did see her around the house, she seemed uninterested in talking and was glued to her phone. Again, this was very unusual behavior. I had no solid proof, but I started to grow suspicious. Finally, just a week ago, she came back again around midnight. I happened to still be up and I just asked politely where she had been. I noticed right away she was drunk. The story was that her boss had her go to a late dinner, but it was full of holes, and at this point I knew something was going on. After she went to bed, I looked in her phone and I found out she was texting her friend at work about going on dates, hiding stuff from me, and other shady things. In the morning we had a huge argument, where I wanted to know why she cheated on me. It came down to her being bored with our sex and wanting to be with other guys to make things more interesting. This was shocking and hurt me deeply. I asked her to leave, got the ring back, and cut ties completely. I'm not even sure how much of a loss I'll take from waiting this long to sell them. At least we won't have any legal difficulties going forward. I'm trying to look for any positives right now. The whole explanation of her wanting to cheat still upsets me. I never got a full explanation of why our sex was boring. I really don't understand why our sex wasn't good enough. I've studied the Kama Sutra and Tantra for a few years and have many of my own techniques. Most of what I am describing is very advanced. Usually I can hit the G-spot when I'm out from the back and take wide squats in, and I can frog from underneath while using my hips as well. I'm good with my fingers from playing guitar, plus my oral skills are developed. Long story short, this is something I've practiced. I don't know if this guy was better than me or what, but it's truly sickening to think she ruined our potential marriage over such an immature desire. I saw on her social media that now she's dating this new guy, and I wonder how long until she does the same to him. I'm starting to feel a little better, but I'm still processing everything. I wanted to share this with everyone here to get some feedback. I feel a little crazy because I have nobody to talk to. If anyone has been cheated on like this before, hopefully you can shed some light on my situation. Excuse my language, but duck your ex-fiancé. Whether she's bored of the sex life or was more interested in her colleague, she should never cheat. Her throwing in house sex with you wasn't enough for her, is only there to justify her actions and make her feel better. Her cheating shouldn't be a reflection on you as a person, and why should it be? I'm sure anyone can be better at sex. Once you find someone new and good for you, they'll understand you, stick by you, and won't throw in excuses which will make you feel worthless. Just find that you're lucky you broke it off before you got married, and that this happened for a reason. Work on yourself and do things you like. You'll become the best version you'll ever be. Make it happen. Well said. Sex is an important part of life, no doubt. It's a good thing this happened before your wedding. I am military here. Many military couples, spouses are always deployed overseas. Intimacy can be achieved in many different ways. So far, a lot of good advice. But just remember to be very glad you're free of a disgusting, lying, betraying individual like this. What a bullet you dodged. You even got the damn ring back. You're doing fine, just forget her name and her face and move on wiser and stronger. I'm really sorry you're going through this. And by the way you tell the story, their excuse has nothing to do with you. You could have been the best at whatever sexual act, and it would have never been what they wanted. Sex is as much of a mental connection as it is a physical one. People who cheat don't do so because someone else is better at the physical stuff. They cheat because of whatever ducked-up connection or validation they are seeking from someone else. The physical piece of the equation is just how it all ends up spelling out the mental stuff. I recognize you're not here for an explanation, and I really don't want my comment to come off as a lecture. I'm saying these things because I want you to know that your fiance cheating is because they are unable to communicate what they want, they lack the maturity to have a healthy relationship with others, and are incapable of taking responsibility for their actions. It's 1,000 times easier to say the sex was boring instead of admitting their faults. Don't fall into their bullshit. It's not about you at all, it never was. Don't sit and wait to see what happens in her life. Ghost her and delete everything about her. You should feel sorry for the poor soul that married her. She will never be satisfied, probably will duck half the men in your town and feel empty. Empty in her soul. You are the frog. You did the right thing. You're better off without her. It's not your skills at sex, she is probably the type that does these things. Don't be too upset about her cheating, just be happy you weren't married when you found this type of behavior now instead of later. Yes, she cheated, and she's an ass. However, hopefully I'm not the only one who is thinking this, but dude, if you are learning how to duck from a book and describing positions to us, there's a ducking problem. You are an animal. She wants you to be an animal. Duck her like an animal. Nope, you're not the only one. If a man said any of that to me, I would probably laugh in his face. Well, thank you for saying this. Not gonna lie, as I was reading the op I was thinking this guy is on another level sexually. I need to read up on this. I mean, wide squats? Frog from underneath? What language is this? I was feeling a little insecure about my own sex life, so I'm glad to hear that it's not that serious. Lol. LMFAO. I'm laughing historically at the "this guy is on another level sexually" comment. Ha ha ha, don't worry. Just have fun, mess up a little, try new things, and go with the flow and you'll be great. Anyone can talk about how many times they've read Kama Sutra or how playing guitar makes them good at fingering, but the real test is, surprise, actually doing it. Ha ha. I can't tell you how many overconfident dudes have bragged about their skills and left me lifeless on the bed, in the bad like, asleep, way. Not the out of body orgasm way. Ha ha. Just be confident in your skills but also vibe with and learn from your partner. Communication is necessary in sex too. Now on to story 2. I saw my wife on a date with a local cop. Everything I'm describing took place about 1.5 years ago. I was married to my wife for 11 years and we have a son together. We both work full-time and have generally busy lives, so I mostly saw her during the weekends. I work as a software sales representative for a medium-sized company, and this often has me traveling around town to meet with clients. The cop involved is actually someone I've dealt with before. He's one of those officers who gets a kick out of bending the rules and harassing people. I saw him frequently hanging out with his partner on their night shift at our local 24-hour store, and he was always giving people a hard time for really no reason. One day I was working and I needed to meet with somebody about a potential deal. My wife told me earlier that she was running errands and would be out until the evening. I've heard this many times before, so it makes me wonder how many dates there were. Anyways, I drove 50 minutes to get to the restaurant we agreed to go to. As I pulled up, I saw my wife's car. It had damage from an earlier accident, so I recognized it right away. I went inside to look for her, and there she is, right with Officer Asshole by the bar. He wasn't in uniform but I knew his face. They couldn't see me, so I just looked at them in disbelief while he had his arm around her and was feeling her up. I of course went up to my wife and questioned her, but I couldn't get any real answers out of her and she left quickly. I had to cancel my meeting and I rushed home. When I got back we started arguing and at times I was at a loss for words. Instead of apologizing she lashed out and called me every name in the book. She primarily complained that she was tired of sleeping with me and needed a change. This really got under my skin because I have some health conditions that hurt my sexual function. I have erectile dysfunction and issues with my prostate, so even when I do get it up, I usually can't last long. It started in my 40s. It is a real issue but I wish we could have talked about it instead. We decided there was no coming back from this, and started the divorce process. I'll spare you the details but it was very painful. I did get custody of my son though, which was fantastic. Since the divorce I've been single and have been looking for ways to heal my conditions and to improve my sex skills. I've been reading a lot of forums about sexual health and picked up many ideas. If these are unfamiliar to you, I suggest you look into them. I've been doing Kegels and RKs, reverse Kegels, for erection quality and orgasm control. I like to throw a few RKs and back Kegels while I edge to stimulate the pelvic floor muscle more. I get a weird pain when I throw too many back RKs though, so those are limited. As far as positioning goes, I learned a couple new styles that are supposed to be very effective. One really stood out to me. If you get dick deep while your partner is cock squatting, it's supposed to allow you to use more of your penis that's hidden behind the layer of pubic fat we all have. The weight of your partner in this position naturally pushes the pad in. I really liked to work her mouth too, but looking back I think I asked for blowjobs too much and didn't give enough head. I want to be a more thoughtful partner and it's something I'll keep in mind for the future. If anyone here has a lot of sexual experience or has dealt with these conditions, any advice would be appreciated. My goal is to get back into a healthy relationship. The title really doesn't prepare you for the rest, huh? Yep, it was like, wait, what, where TF is this going? I had to scroll back for a double take to check the sub-name. It's like that Fresh Prince meme. Sucks you in with a good intro, then boom, in West Philadelphia. I wasn't expecting the ending, ha ha ha. Man, where is he going? I wasn't prepared for this self-realization/awareness recovery ending and added sex tips. But I really am curious, too. Taken aback, more curious. Is a potential dick appointment with Officer Arsolio worth lying about, driving 50 minutes out in a dinged-up car? That's exhausting. Jesus. Trash can on fire, rolling downhill on a pothole-ridden rural Pennsylvania road. Would personally use Hub's famous Lynx's generous software sales salary to get me a state-of-the-art vibrator, stay home, get me a car fixed. This pothole-ridden rural Pennsylvania road sounds oddly specific. It is, unfortunately, oddly specific. Wow. On to story 3. Caught my wife sexting. I had to make a throwaway for this. I was married to my wife for 5 years and we started dating in high school. This was a healthy relationship for the majority of the marriage. Our communication was good and we never fought until the end. We lived in New York, but often traveled to our hometown in New Jersey to visit our families and friends. With the PATH trains that go across state lines, this actually wasn't a big deal. One night we went out to eat in NYC, and we came across one of our old friends from school. We weren't best friends, but we definitely talked to him. The encounter was positive and we traded numbers. We met up with him a few more times and he brought his girlfriend with him. At the time I thought it was nice that we were doing things as a couple. With his girlfriend there I didn't feel threatened at first. After meeting up for the 3rd time, I noticed my wife was sort of flirting with him. I didn't expect this at all, so I was thinking maybe she was trying to be funny, but I wasn't sure. I asked her about it and she said I was being overprotective and that her comments were harmless. The last time we went out I saw more flirting, and despite what she said, I started to believe there was something going on. A couple weeks later, I was making lunch and she left her phone on the counter while she was in the bathroom. She got a text from the guy, which I wasn't expecting because he always texted me to make plans. I opened the text and was in shock. He sent a video of him squeezing out lube on his cock and jerking it. I could hear him clapping his balls with each stroke. I even found a sex tape when I checked the older messages. She was riding him and he was moaning loudly. When my wife came back, the fireworks started. It was a shouting match for the ages. After we calmed down a bit, she said that she thought he was a better man than me and she needed someone strong. She told me that I can't duck her like he can and that he's much tougher. I left for the day and filed for a divorce soon after. Thankfully we didn't have any kids, so the divorce wasn't too difficult. We spent money on lawyers, but the process went smoother than I expected it to. I got to keep the house while making a few sacrifices. I haven't found a girlfriend since though, and it makes me so angry that I wasn't good enough for her. I don't know the specifics since this part of the conversation didn't last long. I also don't know if I should believe her. This was hell for me, so I wanted to share to get some feedback. Thanks. It's not about being good enough. You can be the best lover, and the toughest, most good-looking, most intelligent, most powerful, richest, most accomplished person in the world, and some asshole will find a way to cheat on you and tell you it's because you weren't good enough. You can safely disregard any comment your scummy ex-wife made about your worth/manliness/etc. It's all noise, in an attempt to deflect from the crime she's committed. She doesn't want to be held accountable for her shittiness, so she slings shit at you. It's good to self-reflect after something like this, sure, but none of this was your fault. Don't buy into that crap. This exactly. I've been with an excellent lover who was the most giving and generous person in bed for me till now. And yet the park sex with basically a starfish FWB seemed naughty fun and exciting at the time. Guilt enhances pleasure, that's about it. It wasn't even as good, but the fact that we were doing it where we shouldn't made it seem fun. Don't take criticism from people who cheat. That's like taking advice on how to donate to charities from fraudsters. So she's obviously deflecting. She did the bad thing but can't own it because she is weak and pathetic, so she pretends you are. And you know what? Sex isn't that important. My cheating ex was pathetic in bed and an absolute bitch by any manly metrics, but I still loved him and was loyal until I discovered his affairs. I moved out, filed, and signed the papers before I even started dating. I didn't do any kind of retaliation bullshit. Whether you're manly enough or not has nothing to do with her cheating, and no matter who you are, you can't be enough for weak people. Weak people can't stand next to strong people and be happy. So they destroy everything and try to bring you down to their level in the process. You had nothing to do with her cheating. You couldn't have stopped it. You dodged a bullet by finding out now. Enjoy your second chance at life. I'm actually grateful my ex cheated, the entire marriage BTW, because I would have had to stay with him otherwise. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.